Good morning, boys and girls. It's great to be back. We are going to open with a song that was inspired by a movie called The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. Who saw the movie? We found out about the movie from our AARP membership. They advertise every month, movies for grown-ups. And being that we're members, we get to go to free screenings, so keep your eyes open. They sent us to see The Intern recently with Robert De Niro 3 weeks before it came out. Fantastic. So this movie had a very metaphysical, New Thought guy as the innkeeper of the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. When anybody would complain, he would always smile and say, "Everything will be okay in the end." And they would say, "Yeah, but it's not okay now." He would say, "That's because it's not the end." So I had to write a song about that. This is called Everything Will Be Okay in the End, and we hope you will join us. Okay, here's how the lyrics go. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Let's do it again now. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Nothing in this universe will ever last. So if you're feeling low, this too shall pass. Nothing in this universe will ever last. So if you're feeling low, this too shall pass. Because everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. It's not the end yet. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. We're gonna sha-la-la now. Sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la. Every happy song has some sha-la-la-las in it. Sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la. Okay, here comes the tricky part for New Thought people. Even when it all just seems to go your way, don't get attached, it's gonna change. Even when it all just seems to go your way, no matter how many times you saw The Secret, it's still gonna change. But that's okay, because everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Just the audience. Perfect. It's not the end. It's not the end. So if you don't like the weather, wait a day. It's not the end. It's not the end. If you haven't been able to sign up for the Affordable Health Care Act yet, it's not the end. It's not the end. Look, no hands. But this is the end. And now a word from our sponsor. Woo-hoo-hoo.
So you're glad to see us?
Okay. Hey, good morning. Boy, what a special day we have for today. Armand and Angelina are with us today. And then after service, we're having, finally after 53 years, they're finally going to decide to get married. They've got children, they've got grandchildren. So stick around, more to come. Okay, we got the Christmas concert coming up next Sunday. Okay. And it's at 2 o'clock. Make sure you're there, David. Okay. Choir concert next Sunday, 2 o'clock. Also today, after the service, Armand and Angelina are going to be doing a flute workshop at 1 o'clock. And also, I guess they like Fort Worth. They're sticking around till Wednesday. And we have our Wednesday night series that they're going to do, I guess, that say. And it's going to be a very uplifting program. And that's at 7 o'clock. Normally it's 6:30, so it's at 7 o'clock. Okay. Today's flowers are given in memory of my mother. She would have been 97 tomorrow. So she always makes me think. She had an arthritic finger, and then she had this little crook in there. But I'd always get lectured, and it'd always come at me. So, also I'd like to announce the new board members. Well, I'm going to announce all the board members. Connie Anderson, Joe Greenslade, Artis Cavery, Rebecca Lau is new, Penny McCook is new, Jody Payne, Carter Tiernan, Sharon Whitney's new, Reverend Glenn Moore, and Reverend Scott McDowell. Okay. Okay. I've given all the announcement. Is there anyone here for the very first time? Anyone here for the very first time? Well, welcome everyone. I guess everyone that's not here thought that they were going to melt, and I know they're not that sweet. But I'm glad you're here. We've got a wonderful day today. And with that, let's do our vision, affirmation, and, hey, welcome yourselves. Boy, that was sure a lot of hugging for a small crowd. Okay. There you go. Okay, now we can do our vision, affirmation, and principles. The vision of Harmony Fellowship is peace, harmony, and prosperity for all. Affirming that Spirit is our source, Harmony Fellowship provides a community for spiritual nourishment, fellowship, prayer, and service. The principles of Harmony Fellowship are inclusiveness, integrity, humility, compassion, transparency, and generosity. What a great day we have ahead of us.
So our song into meditation is going to be Peace in Every Moment. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. If you happen to ever turn the television on and watch any of the news, this would be a great song to sing after you've watched that, because they will try to inspire you to not be at peace when we know the peace of God is available no matter what craziness is going on in the world. And that includes when Donald Trump speaks. Okay. He did not approve of that message. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. And I invite you to quiet the mind and relax, letting go of any thoughts, concerns. Bring your attention to the breath. As we breathe in, we take in more awareness of peace and oneness and harmony. As we breathe in harmony, we breathe in diversity. As we embrace diversity, we create more harmony. Allow the music now to take you on your very own sacred journey into the peace of God, our divine, true, eternal nature. very gently now, begin to bring your attention to this time and place, this sacred sanctuary, this holy now moment. For only with awareness of this now moment can we truly experience the peace of God, all that is one love. God, Goddess, Buddha, Krishna, Christ, Mohammed, Allah. God, Goddess, Kuan Yin, Ra, Jehovah, Kali, Allah. God, Goddess, Buddha, Krishna, Christ, Mohammed, Allah. God, Goddess, Kuan Yin, Ra, Jehovah, Kali, Allah. Bless you, and so it is. Not guilty. By the way, if this were a wedding, more people would have come to see me. And this side, okay. Not totally balanced. God is balanced. I know this flow. Welcome some of our friends, Phil and Delia. Good to see you. Some old friends, some new friends. I don't know about you, but I was told in my first church I went to that I was born in original sin. Anybody ever hear that? You go into a place of worship, you go to feel close to God, and they'll tell you that you're born in sin. Dr. Phil would say, how's that working for you? It's good for the therapists. I learned in New Thought, in 1984, when I went to my first New Thought church after saying I was never going to go to church again because I didn't like it. Felt too exclusive. I did not want to be in that members-only club anymore. Somebody said, well, you got to try a New Thought church. I said, why would I go to a church? And they said, a New Thought church is a church for those that don't like church. I said, I'll try that. Been going 32 years. And I learned that I wasn't born in original sin. I was born as an original blessing. Doesn't that feel more accurate when you think about your birth and your being and your connection to all humanity, that you were born as a blessing? Now, I didn't have a whole lot of wonderful examples of unconditional love growing up. I had what most of us have, which is, you are such a sweet, wonderful person as long as you're not inconveniencing the adults. And once you inconvenience the adults, you're not so wonderful anymore. That's what I felt. And so what happens is we grow up believing that our lovability is conditional, that our beauty and our innocence and our worthiness is conditional. And it can't be. Now, one of the things you'll probably not hear too often at this center is you won't hear what your limitations are, because we're all about unlimited possibilities, right? I'm going to tell you one of your very few limitations. It is impossible to be unlovable. Who's tried? Come on. Come on. That's one thing you'll never be able to do no matter how hard you try. It's impossible. It's your nature. You cannot change that part of yourself, no matter what you do. One of the big things we get confused with is remorse and shame. Here's an example. Remorse is a great thing. I'll tell you why. Remorse says, I am awesome. What I did and said was not as awesome as I want to be, and I can do better than that. Do you see the difference? That's remorse. That's healthy. That makes you improve. Shame is when you say, I'm bad. Because of my actions or my words, I am bad. I am unlovable. Versus what a beautiful, holy child of God said or did, you're saying, I am bad. I am wrong. I am unlovable. And that's impossible. So always keep it about the behavior, the action, especially when you're dealing with other people. It's very easy to say that person is bad because they did bad things. That person is unlovable because they did disharmonious things. Impossible. We're all lovable and worthy. Now, God sees us that unconditionally. Sees us as perfect, beautiful children of light. The same way we see an actor we love, no matter what part they play in a movie, we still love them as an actor, right? We go, well, they're just playing their part. They're supposed to be a villain. Guess what? That's true of us too. We're just actors. Any time that you're not acting in your Christ Buddha consciousness, you're just an actor at that moment. Because your true nature you have put aside to put on this character to play in this wonderful thing called the Matrix. We're just playing here. And we need to learn to love ourselves that wonderfully. Now, one wonderful opportunity we have to love ourselves. Hello, Adair, all the way from Grapevine. She didn't want me to bring attention to her. So one of the ways that we get a chance to feel this unconditional kind of love is when we fall in love. Raise your hand if you love falling in love. It's awesome. What happens is all of your programming that says you're unlovable, it gets numbed by the addictive drug called love drugs. It gets numbed. You get completely inebriated, but you don't know it. You think that you're really sober. So a lot of times you ask them to marry you quickly or buy a house or a car with them. Not a good thing to do when you are drunk. And you are drunk. It takes about 18 months to 3 years for you to sober up. So I always encourage people, don't make too many big decisions while you're inebriated. Wait till that goes down. When that starts to wear off, then you can get to why you might really be with that person. Not to feel drugged up, but to heal the parts of you that feel unlovable by having a partner that you can love them unconditionally and they can love you unconditionally. Eric Butterworth, a wonderful New Thought speaker, minister, author, he used to love it when people would come to his office saying, we want to get married. And he'd counsel them. And then about 3 years later, they'd come back in and say, I do not know why I'm with this person. And he would say, now we're getting to it. Now we're getting to it. You're not on automatic love drug, numbed out automatic pilot anymore. You're going to get to look and mirror with that person what needs loving. So what happened, Angelina? We had our kind of typical textbook romance, fell madly in love. She would tell me I'm the greatest guy in the world, and I would believe her. And I'd tell her she's the greatest girl in the world, and she would believe me. And then about 18 months later, stuff started to come back up. Our old dysfunction, our neurosis would start to come up. And she would say something, you are just amazing. And I would say, well, if you really knew me. You see that? That old lie started to come up and take form again, and vice versa. You know, say something, boy, you look really beautiful today. I know, but did you see these new wrinkles? You know, that's our way of feeding the part of us that says we're not ideal and wonderful and beautiful and perfect. Okay, so after about, 5 or 6 years together, then I started to believe her again. She started to believe me again. We started to get back to that early idea of our lovability without the love drugs. That felt good. It wasn't conclusive, but we were starting to get there. And then after about 9 years of being together, we started to go, oh my goodness, I'm really believing it now. With enough reinforcement, what I call antivirus. Really, this church is really just a form of elaborate antivirus, if you think about it. It's telling you stuff that is true, that is getting rid of the old viruses that said that you were limited, small, unworthy, guilty, whatever. So enough antivirus and those viruses start to go away, and you start to feel them and start to believe them, okay? I found that was true with happiness. Has anybody read The Untethered Soul? In Michael Singer's book, The Untethered Soul, he says you can make a commitment to be unconditionally happy. And a lot of people would say, well, that's not fully emotionally connected. There's all kinds of other emotions. He says, yes, there are other emotions, but you can commit to being unconditionally happy no matter what emotion you're going through. The same way when you go to a movie theater and you watch a movie that goes through a full gamut of emotions, from anger to grief, all these emotions in the middle. But you as a human watching that movie can still be happy during the whole movie. Has anybody ever experienced that? Michael Singer says you can do that with your life. And eventually, if you do it long enough, then you won't have to fake it so much. Because you will find yourself feeling a sense. You know, happiness is sometimes just another word for a sense of peace. There's an old saying, fear is false evidence appearing real, unless, of course, you're being chased by a bear, and then it's forget everything and run. Okay? But faith is more powerful than fear. Faith is feeling all right in the heart. Feeling all right in the heart. That's faith. Faith doesn't say, I'm not sad because my brothers and sisters are dying in Syria. Faith says, I can feel all right in the heart, send them love and prayers, and know that all will work out eventually in divine order. That's a different type of energy than pretending it's not happening there. You don't pretend it's not happening there. You send your compassion, you send your prayers, you do your activity, whatever that can be, supporting freedom, and you know that there's a part of you that is connected to the eternal love of God that says all is well and it will always be. That is how you can deal with all the emotions of life and still be at peace and know your innocence and everybody else's innocence by birth. So Angelina and I are going to sing a song for you now. This is called If I Could Only Love Me the Way You Do. It's really a love song to God. All romantic love songs, if you really take the other person out of them, are a romance with the beloved. You know, a lot of those celibate priests and monks would write this amazing poetry to God that would sound so romantic. Rapture, surrender, all of that is a divine love with God. So we wrote this with each other, but really we're writing it to God. It took us about 9 years to complete. Okay. So one of the teachings that Angelina and I have been studying for, I guess, about 11 years now is something called real love. His name is Dr. Greg Bear. Anybody familiar with Real Love with Dr. Greg Bear? Okay, a few of you. He says very simply, feeling loved is not the most important thing. It's the only thing. It really is the only thing. Everything else comes from that. And he says, if we did not have consistent examples growing up that we were lovable no matter what, then we will grow up trying to seek to fill that hole. Some people call it a God-shaped hole, trying to seek it. But if we don't seek it through love and God, which are the synonyms, we will find it from other things, either addictions or power or control or validation or something that is not really making us feel loved, but it's filling the hole with an imitation thing. Kind of like if you say, man, I am really, really hungry. My stomach is growling. If you eat a bowl of whipped cream, it will help your stomach growling go away. It won't make you full, but at least for the moment you won't be growling. And that's the way it is with love. We can use these imitation loves, prayer, pleasure. Prayer would be a good one. That would be the real thing. Pleasure, power, safety, and praise. Now, when they talked about praise, I remember when I started going heavily into Real Love in 2011. I was going through a really tough time. I was going through my own version of a dark night of the soul. I was dealing with some addiction and sobriety work. And they said, well, praise is addictive and it's not love. And I went, oh my God, what I do for a living gives me praise. Tens of thousands of people every year listen to what I say and applaud. Am I filling a God-shaped hole with praise? And guess what I found out? A large extent of it was that. That's certainly part of the reason I got into ministry, I can tell you that right now, was so I could feel good about myself when a part of me really did not. Now, fortunately, I watched that and I looked at that and I was able to see that that's not love and that my job is to serve. The praise is a bonus, but I don't need to do it for that reason. But at that time, I was very confused and thought maybe I should quit being in the ministry altogether. And God said, nope, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's kind of like, you can own a bar without being an alcoholic. We don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And so one of the examples is that Greg Bear says that when your children feel your anger and disappointment in them, children, grandchildren, but adults too, because we're all children of God, right? Then what we hear is, this person is angry at me, I must be bad. We don't hear, they're angry because of what I did. We hear subconsciously, unless we got a very, very strong childhood that said otherwise, we hear unconsciously, I'm not good anymore. So what he says is, he says something pretty radical. He says, never, ever take out your anger, disappointment, or resentment ever on the person that has triggered it. Ever. And you say, well, you mean if I get angry at someone, I'm not supposed to let them know? And he says, absolutely not. He says, because you want more love in the world. If you think about all the drama that's going on in the world, if you get down to the core of it, it's all happening because people are feeling unlovable and taking their unlovable sense out on other people, right? That's basically what it is if you get down to it. He says, when you get angry at somebody for something that they did, you need to love them even more. He says it's going to be almost impossible to do. He says, so what you do is, let's give you an example. So, Glenn, I'm going to make up a story here. But today when you backed up your truck, you smashed into my car. That didn't really happen. But now, if that were happening right then, I might have a little upset with it. So I don't want to go to Glenn and tell him how I feel about what he did. I want to go to this guy and say, Reverend Glenn, I want to kill that sucker. Now here's what's happening when I go to him. When I go to him, what I'm doing is I'm releasing those emotions that need to come out, but he's not related to it. He can say, yeah, I've felt that way before, but let's talk about this. We're going to talk. He's going to love me back up, because remember, the reason that I was angry at Glenn is not because of what Glenn did. It's because a part of me felt unlovable, and that triggered it. Things didn't go my way, so my stuff came up. So I go to this guy, and I talk to him about it. He says, you'll take care of this. Glenn's a good guy. We're going to work it all out. So what happens when I'm talking to him is I'm getting loved back up again. I got somebody that's going to hear me, allow me to express my anger, and is going to help me know that I'm the Christ within. Glenn is the Christ within. Then I can go back to Glenn and say, we got to talk about that truck. You see the difference? I'm not taking my anger out. Same thing with kids. Your kids do something that you don't like. Tell that kid, oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so sorry. I love you. I love you the same before you knocked over my $3,000 vase. I love you just the same. Daddy's having a problem right now. He's going to come back and talk to you about this. I love you. You're fine. Then he's going to go talk to his friends, and he's going to get filled back up. What do I do? I'm really upset at my child. Then you get filled back up, and you come talk to your child. You see the difference? It doesn't mean he says don't get angry. It doesn't mean he says don't get disappointed in people and don't get resentful. Those are natural human natures. How many people saw Inside Out, the animated show? Just saw it for the second time. It's a fantastic metaphysical, psychoanalytical movie that is not meant for the kids that they made it for. It's made for us. But anyway, but they showed that all these emotions, they happen. They're supposed to happen. And if you don't let one of them happen, like if you don't allow yourself to feel sad when something is sad, if you don't allow that, it will get angry and bigger and stronger and keep trying to get your attention. You flow through all of those emotions. So by allowing yourself to feel all those emotions, but not taking them out on the people that maybe inspired them, then what you have an opportunity to do is let yourself and everybody know that they are unconditionally lovable no matter what happens. Tall order. Now, How many people used to watch Oprah? Oprah, we used to tape Oprah and get great messages from her shows. And one of her shows had a couple of gentlemen on there that had gotten out of jail, but they had been in jail for like 10 to 15 years for taking the lives of certain family members. Now, they got out of jail because of DNA testing. They proved that they were absolutely not the ones. It was very, very powerful and exciting. Here's the twist. Both men had confessed to the crimes. And you might say, well, that's crazy. Well, yeah, it is crazy. Welcome to neurotic craziness. We all have a bit of that in us. We all can be neurotic and crazy if we're interrogated and pressured enough in the right way. So these men say, well, it was a combination of confusion because we were traumatized by what had happened, and we were also taken into jail because we were the suspects, and there was a lot of pressure. Interrogation. Come on, you know you did it. Come on, you know you did it. If you just admit you did it, we'll lower the sentence. We'll get you out earlier. We can just clean this up. Come on, you did it, you did it, you did it. Not enough sleep. Boom, boom, boom. They said, and part of it was confusion, but part of it was an instinct to say whatever we needed to say to shut them up. And I started to weep. I said, oh my God, we as humans have done that. We come into this world as this innocent, beautiful child, happy, ready for life, and enough people tell us there's something wrong with us. We're the wrong color, we're the wrong height, we're the wrong orientation, we're not smart enough, we're too smart, whatever. Then eventually a part of us will say whatever we need to say to shut the voices up. And eventually the voices become in our own head and start to repeat that lie over and over. And we confess just like those men did, but we confess to the worst crime you can possibly confess to, a false confession that somehow we are not enough. And really that's what it all boils down to. We confess that something is wrong with us, we are not enough, and we are not lovable. And remember I said earlier, no matter how hard you try, it's impossible to be unlovable. It's impossible not to be divine. It's impossible not to be innocent. Now you can be guilty of an action, but you yourself will always be an innocent, perfect child of God, regardless. And the more we know that we're beautiful children of God, innocent and divine and holy, the more that we know that, the side effect is there will be no desire or tendency or inclination to want to do things that create disharmony, because those are always a cry for love. And if you're loved up, you won't need to make that cry. So Angelina and I are going to finish this part of the service with a song called Innocent that was inspired by that Oprah show.